The horrendous crime that we call honor killings are on the rise, not just in Canada, but around the world. And I want to find out more about them scientifically. I want to understand it so I know how better to fight it. And joining us now in studio is Dr. Amin Mohammed, Doctor of Psychiatry at the Memorial University of Newfoundland. I'm so glad you're here in Toronto. Thank you for joining us. Yes. Now, Doctor, you're from Pakistan originally. You studied in Karachi, but you've also studied in the UK, and now you're here in Canada. Your expertise in this is in this area. Tell me about some of the research you have done scientifically into the phenomenon of honor killing.
My research dates back when I was in Pakistan. At that time, I was involved with government and non-government organization, and I was active in academics. And I was invited to interview a perpetrator who was convicted in honor crime. And then it went on, and I came to know that there's some mental health issue also attached to these types of crimes. And then I started my research, and then I completed it here when I was in Canada along with a senior resident of mine.
Now, let's try to measure the extent of honor killings. Can you give us an estimate of how many honor killings there are around the world and how many there are here in Canada?
Around the world, according to the United Nations report, it is 5,000 women killed under this context every year. In Canada, we have so far witnessed 13 cases.
13, and does that include the 4 that are being tried right now in Kingston? Or
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Now, can you define for us what an honor killing is? What is a typical honor killing, and how do you know if something is an honor killing or a different kind of a killing?
It is a cultural concept. Women were supposed to be, or are supposed to be in many developing countries, are a commodity and attached with an honor of a family. By virtue of that, if they contact any male outside the family or even go out with them for a coffee or a friend relationship, are taken as dishonor to the family. And in order to restore the honor back, they have to eliminate the victim and the person who is with the woman of the family.
Now, is honor killing acceptable under Sharia law? Are there countries in the world where honor killing is lawful?
No country, I cannot say that any country is allowing it to be a lawful entity. No, actually, people will distort the facts, they will abuse religion, and they will try to get away with these types of killing.
What are the countries in which it is, even if it's formally against the law, in which de facto it is most prevalent?
It's most prevalent in many developing countries, including Pakistan, Jordan, some Middle Eastern countries. Even we have seen in the United States of America, United Kingdom, and now in Canada. And there are a number of other countries.
Now, you said it's a cultural phenomenon. Can you distinguish for me between generic domestic violence and honor killings? What is the difference between, let's say, wife beating and honor killings? How do you know the difference, and how are they manifest those differences?
Domestic violence is a continuous act. It's a problem with the person who is subjecting the other person to domestic violence. It's not premeditated. It can be impulsive. Honor crime is premeditated, forethought, and it comes with the cultural mindset. And they plan, the co-perpetrators would be brothers, husband, father, even the women like mother, sisters, they can be the co-accomplices in doing this, but it's a planned, deliberate murder.
And so a typical case of domestic abuse would be an abusive man who, when he gets drunk, lashes out or is just generally abusive, whereas honor killing, there may also be domestic violence, but it is based on an event, a dishonoring event.
That's right.
A daughter went out without her hijab or so. You mentioned that there is a mental health element to it. Mm-hmm. How do you reconcile that with basically the political decision to enforce a cultural norm? Tell me what mental health aspects manifest themselves.
For example, think about a person who would abuse the spouse or who would be very violent towards children. There are many people in the society who are violent, who behaves erratically. And there is a classification in the psychiatry, which is the personality disorder classification, in which we come across antisocial personality, psychopathic personality, and number of other things were used to determine a personality disorder. And the perpetrators are those who would commit a crime, who would commit a murder, a heinous crime, and will not show any remorse. This will come under the personality disorder.
Well, I want to ask you this, because I want to be careful. This is just a personal political view, that I don't want to deem a criminal to be crazy. I believe there's such a thing as good and evil, and people can commit evil without them being nuts. I agree that some people who are crazy commit crimes. In the main, our honor killers are the brothers or husbands who kill the dishonored woman. Are they mentally ill, or are they acting out of a political decision? I would call it evil, but let's just call it a cultural decision.
You are very right. Mental issue has there is a proportion of mental health issue.
What proportion do you think?
We can say around 10 to 15%.
So 85% of honor killings are not a mental health issue?
No, they cannot be mental health issues, because this is something, one, it is the cultural misconcept. The other thing is there's some gain they get, or they get some advantage or benefit out of this crime, and there is a political agenda, and then there's an abuse of religion. They misinterpret religion, and they feel that if we'll restore the honor, they will be enlightened in terms of the religious holiness or sanctity.
Now, Doctor, you're from Pakistan. Your name is Mohammed, so I assume that you yourself are Muslim. Some people in Canada have tried to say that describing something as an honor killing, as a distinct taxonomy from domestic violence, is an act of Islamophobia or Western prejudice. Do you reject that?
I would reject that, but there's no phobia. There's not. I would say that honor killing is not attached to any religion. You would see that, yes, there are examples where Muslims were perpetrators, but there are other religions, like there's an example in Canada where a person from a Sikh religion or a Hindu religion or a Christian background, they would also do this. And if you read the history, ancient times, there were people who were not Muslims, they were from different religion, and they committed this crime. So it's not religion specific.
In 2011, what proportion of honor killings are from a misinterpretation of Islam?
I would say it depends on which country this is taking place. For example, in a Eastern, as a developing country or a predominant Muslim country, it would have a major plea for defense. But in country like Canada, they would present their cultural mindset as a plea for defense.
Dr. Mohammed, I very much appreciate you bringing your scientific background and your research to bear. I hope we can talk to you again, because unfortunately this troubling trend seems to be growing here in Canada.
That's right.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.